The slap wasn't just loud, it was seismic. In front of a luxury cabin full of elites, a woman judged by her skin and silence was struck by someone who thought status meant superiority. What no one knew was that the woman in Seat 2A didn't just belong there. She owned the plane. And in exactly 6 minutes, the woman who struck her would lose everything: her job, her freedom, and her illusion of control. This is the moment respect stopped being optional. The private jet shimmered beneath the afternoon sun, its silver body reflecting light like a blade. Inside, the cabin whispered wealth: plush leather seats, chilled champagne, the soft hum of prestige. Every detail exuded luxury. Alice Walker stepped aboard wearing a navy blue suit, sharp enough to cut through judgment. Mid-30s, quietly elegant, she moved with the calm precision of someone used to being underestimated and entirely unbothered by it. She gave a polite nod to the flight crew and walked down the aisle, her ticket untouched. She didn't need a boarding pass. Her name was on the deed, but no one knew that. Not yet. Standing at the cabin entrance was head attendant Anna Foster. Late 40s, tightly wound, Anna's uniform was immaculate, her smile selective. Her eyes scanned Alice, subtle frown, tight jaw, an unspoken message. "You don't belong up here." Alice took her seat without a word. Second row, aisle, seat 2A. She placed her slim briefcase under the seat, pulled out a leather-bound notebook, and waited. Calm, controlled. Anna watched her like a fly on fine china. She approached. "Excuse me, ma'am. You must be lost. This section's reserved for our premier guests." Alice looked up, tone even. "I'm in the correct seat." Anna's voice sharpened. "I don't think so. First class is fully booked." Alice replied, still serene. "Then I'd suggest checking the manifest." Passengers began to turn their heads. A woman in pearls raised her brow. A businessman whispered, "Is she trying to sneak into a seat?" Anna folded her arms. "If you don't move to the back, I'll have security escort you off." Alice closed her notebook, met Anna's eyes, and said softly, "I suggest you don't do that." Anna smirked. "Or what?" Alice didn't answer, but the answer was already in motion. Anna spun on her heel, her heels clicking like gavel strikes down the aisle. The businessman in 3C frowned, eyes narrowing. Across the aisle, an older woman adjusted her pearl necklace, watching with careful judgment, but not of Alice. Alice sat motionless. Then slowly she pulled out her phone and typed a single message. One line, one recipient. She set the phone on her tray table. Didn't send it, just waited. Anna returned moments later, arms crossed, her posture a performance of authority. "You're being disruptive," she said louder this time. Passengers shifted in their seats. Some looked away, others didn't blink. "I've been silent," Alice said gently, "but you've made assumptions based on appearance." Anna's smirk widened. "I've made assumptions based on facts. You're not on the manifest." A voice spoke from behind her. "Did you actually check?" It was Grace, the junior flight attendant, young, nervous, watching from the galley like someone caught between right and wrong. Anna snapped, "Grace, handle the refreshments. This doesn't concern you." Alice looked at Grace and gave a small, knowing nod. Grace hesitated, then quietly stepped aside. Alice turned back to Anna. "You're escalating something that didn't need to be a problem." Anna leaned closer, voice now low and poisonous. "You're in over your head." Alice leaned back and smiled. "You'll see." The businessman in 3C frowned again, muttered, "She doesn't look rattled. She looks ready." Anna raised her voice one more time, addressing the cabin. "We are dealing with a security issue. Please remain in your seats." Alice picked up her phone and hit send. 10 minutes later, the pilot emerged from the cockpit. Captain Logan, former Air Force, walked with the weight of someone used to silence and sudden change. His face was pale, his jaw tight. He walked straight past Anna, straight to Alice. He stopped, nodded respectfully, and said just loud enough for the cabin to hear, "Miss Walker, we received your message. I've contacted ground control. The cabin is yours. We'll be landing shortly." The entire plane gasped. Anna's face turned ashen. "What? What did you say?" Captain Logan turned to her. "She's not just a passenger. She's the owner of this aircraft. The businessman in 3C let out a single, incredulous chuckle. Knew it. The woman in pearls looked like she'd swallowed a lemon. Anna? She looked like a building, just realizing it had no foundation. I didn't know, she stammered. Alice finally stood, calm, graceful, unshaken. You didn't ask, she replied softly. You assumed. The businessman clapped once, slowly. Others joined. Alice turned to the passengers. I'm sorry you had to witness this, but I'm not sorry it happened. Anna's lips trembled. Please, I didn't mean... Alice looked at her. No one ever does. Then she gestured to Captain Logan. Proceed. Anna was removed from the plane upon landing. Quietly, no spectacle, just consequences. Alice? She was escorted into a black SUV waiting on the tarmac. Not because she demanded it, because it was already protocol. News broke within hours. A flight attendant fired. An airline CEO disrespected on her own aircraft. Footage leaked. Passenger statements surfaced. The world didn't just watch, they reacted. Respect in the air, Yash Alice stood, Chakchun, she owns the plane. All trended worldwide. Days later, Alice appeared in a televised interview. Calm, collected. When asked if she planned to sue, she said simply, no, I plan to reform. She announced new mandatory inclusivity training across her airline, anonymous passenger evaluation systems, automatic recording of all cabin incidents, because sometimes the best revenge is revolution. A month later, Alice boarded another flight, same airline, new crew. This time, the greeting came not with condescension, but with respect. Welcome aboard, Miss Walker, said a smiling young attendant. Alice nodded and took her seat at the front. Outside the window, the sky waited, and as the engines roared to life, one thought filled the cabin like sunlight. This wasn't just a flight, it was a lesson, and no one would forget it.